Hey y'all. So I'm back. As I said, we are finishing up or attempting to finish up. I said this was a long story, Wounded for a Purpose by Leah Freeman. As I said, beginning when I first started reading this is a story anthology. It's called Unraveling the Layers, Memoirs of a Wounded Soul. So it is a number of different stories about women who have triumphed instead of failing, who pushed and gave and heard and lost themselves and found themselves, and they're pretty much telling you how they did it in this book. As I always say, I did have the pleasure of being a contributing writer in this book. That's not the only reason that I'm sharing it with you. I will be sharing many other stories way before mine's come along. I don't even know when I'm going to share mine's. As I'm not obviously not scared to share it because it is in print. You can go to Amazon.com and pick up the book Unraveling the Layers, Memoirs of a Wounded Soul, and this is layer one. This is an empowerment brand. This brand was I guess you can say invented by Jessica Lee Ann and Melissa Sampson. Melissa Sampson has Unraveling the Layers. I don't never want to say her book and read the wrong name, but when you put up this Unraveling the Layers, that one is going to come, and I believe that's the second layer. But it's a very good empowerment brand. There are a lot of workshops and things. At least when Miss Lee Ann lived in California, she did workshops and things, and she's just a lovely, lovely lady. I had the pleasure of meeting Melissa. Melissa is very kind and sweet as well, because we did have a women's workshop in which I had the pleasure of speaking at. So I got a little part of not necessarily ownership, but a little part in the brand, being a contributing writer. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going over, sorry y'all, I had to move my phone. We're going to be going over or finishing up. If you did not hear the first part, we did discuss the ruffled sock, where Leah was separated from her mother at about 1 year old. Her father moved her to New York City. She ended up being raised by her grandmother, excuse me. And when she was raised by her grandmother, she had been raised by her grandmother a good 4 years, 4+ years. And her father came back to New York, picked her up, took her back, I'm assuming to, I don't know what state it was, but he took her back where her mother was. He had, in turn, got back with her mother and fathered 2 additional children with her mother. And Leah, unfortunately, had no connection with the children, no real connection with her father, well, her siblings actually, not the children, no real connection with her mother. And this was all a part of her being a wounded soul. I hope I explained that pretty good for y'all. So now we are discovering, that's the best word to say it, a box that was in her meaning Leah's, in Leah's possession, and it had 1972, and she knew that it was her box because that was the year that she was born. So we went over the ruffled sock, and the ruffled sock was the first thing that she actually seen, but it was only one sock. There was no mate. And as she's going through the box, she's unveiling things that she had kind of like regressed back in her mind. She also went over a cassette tape in which she sent to her father. This young lady went through some things. So we are on the striped skirt, and I believe I'm going to be able to read a couple of them. I think the striped skirt and the broken lamp are going to be 2 that I'm going to be able to read on today. So, the striped skirt, and this happened in 1989. I took a deep breath and reached down again, this time pulling a red and white candy striped skirt out of a package labeled 1989. As soon as I saw it, the memories exploded. Wow. Sex for the first time and the shame I felt afterwards, asking God for forgiveness, paranoia that my mother somehow knew what I had done and would be disappointed in me. And then I saw myself at the age of 17 standing in front of church being excommunicated. Okay? Wow. I don't know if you guys know what excommunicated means, but to be excommunicated when you attend a church is to be found guilty of something or thought guilty of something by the elders and or leaders of the church, and they have in turn decided that they no longer want a spiritual fellowship with you within their church. That was a good definition. I, unfortunately, got to see a few excommunications with the church that I was attending in Vallejo, California, when I was coming up as a teenager. I've been in church a long, long time. You know, people can say, I've been in church all my life. Let me explain something to you about a person that says they've been in church all their life. I have been in church a long time, but always willing to learn because I don't know everything. People that say that they've been in all their life, most of the time, are not willing to learn anything new. They already know the Bible front and back. They have their own thoughts and things on what the Bible is and what the breakdown of the Bible. And this is not a show about the Bible, but I'm just trying to get you guys to understand what excommunication means. So, that is to be removed from your relationship with the church simply because there is a thought that you have done something such as breaking a rule of the church, and the leaders of the church come together and decide that that's something that they want to do. I was sinful and not worthy of being included in my spiritual family because I had gotten pregnant by a young neighborhood thug. Shameful. I was thrown out of church and out of my mother's house with no life skills. There it was again. I was alone. I was alone, oh my God, Jesus, for every doctor's appointment. When my baby first moved, those changes in my body, many, many nights, tears drenched my pillow. I yelled and screamed for God, but often wondered if he heard me because I couldn't hear his voice. If God wasn't love, I would have to find it elsewhere. So I turned to a life of growing inside me. The enemy introduced me to parasitic love. This love is tainted. I decided that any love that I needed would come from the babies I birthed, not knowing that children are empty vessels until and waiting to be filled. So I would be drawing from empty wells. For everyone else, I build up walls around my heart. Men couldn't love me properly, so I selected what I thought were safe relationships with them. I would give them my body in exchange for stability and structure for our children. I was wrong again, and the enemy dealt me a third deadly blow: isolation. My daughter was gorgeous. She was born on the day I graduated from high school and was as beautiful as the sun bursting through the clouds on a rainy day. Her smile warmed my heart and temporarily caused and chased away the sadness. But I was still alone. I was pregnant again by her father, and he was emotionally abusive. He was a womanizer and left me to figure things out alone much of the time. But when he came home, He made me feel like nothing. He knew that I didn't love him. He knew that he was someone to fill space and time. So he refused to provide for us, and I resented him. Why was I with him? There were many, many days that I wished that he would leave, but I didn't have the courage to make him go. We stayed together, each wishing the other would give in and end it soon. Then one day happened. Our son turned 4 months old and got really sick with an infection that was invading the fluid that was surrounding his brain. My God, this young lady has been through a lot. Once again, my baby's father was nowhere to be found. I looked at my baby lying in the bed with all the wires covering his body and tubes coming from every opening. I promised him that I would love him better. I remember the story of Hannah from the Bible, so I asked God to allow me to keep my son, and I would give him back to him. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Then my baby recovered. His father never showed up, but when we came home, I knew that he had been there. The money that I'd made as a petty drug dealer was gone, and he had left us nothing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. What type of man would steal from his own children? No way was he going to get away with that. I searched for him high and low, and then I found him. I found him at another woman's house with her and her children. The nerve of him to take what was mine and blow it on another chick. I vowed then and there that he had to go for good. I packed up his things and changed the locks. 2 days later, he caught me on the street walking with his children and smashed his fists into my face, with blood flowing down my nose and my daughter flapping around his ankles like a rag doll. The enemy delivered another blow. Bitterness. When I left him, when he left our children for me to take care of alone. Then one day, when my son was about 9 months old, I got in my bed and began breastfeeding him. My daughter was 2.5, and she was in the room watching cartoons. Sounds normal, right? Wrong. I had just swallowed a full bottle of Excedrin and slit my wrist. The loneliness was too much to bear. I just wanted to put my baby to sleep so that I could slip off into eternity. As my eyelids got heavier and heavier, I could hear my daughter enter the room. Mommy, 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 I love you. Do you hear me, mommy? Mommy, I said I love you. And I said I love you this much, she announced in her little baby voice. Tears rolled down my cheeks as she spoke those words. I had forgotten about all my plans to die. I couldn't go now. She wouldn't understand. Somehow I knew that I would wake up again. But when I did, I knew that I had to make some changes. Y'all, I gotta stop right here. First of all, because the video is getting too long. Secondly, because this sister's story, oh my goodness. I fought to keep the tears away. Oh boy. I've been there. I've been there. I've never slit my wrist. I've never taken pills, but I've thought it. So I've been there. So it kind of hit home. Oh my goodness. Anyway, the fact that God loves us so much that he used that little bitty baby, her little 2-year-old baby, to grab her attention and to turn her life around so that she could have a better life for her kids. I was going to read the next one called The Broken Lamp, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave this right here. You guys, I knew that these stories were going to be gripping. I knew it. I knew it. This particular story is called Wounded for a Purpose. And wow, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. That's going to be it, you guys, for today of reading Unraveling the Layers. Memoirs of a Wounded Soul, Layer 1. Once again, I do want you guys to know that you can purchase this book on Amazon.com. The writers are Jessica Leann, and that's Leeann, uppercase A, and Melissa Sampson. You can get the book for $10.99. Amazing stories of triumph, amazing stories of women from all walks of life courageously sharing their stories of pain, heartache, shame, and abuse, as well as their journey to what it took to get them back to triumphing again. Please leave some comments in the comment section. Y'all, this one right here, I'm going to try to come back on tomorrow and read the Broken Lamp. I may do it right after this because I want to kind of set up some videos and stuff. Oh my goodness, that one was heavy. Well, I'll talk to you all real soon. Thank you so much for tuning into Carol's Daily Sauce. Please share, as sharing is most definitely caring. We're on our road to 500, and however long it takes to get there, it'll be a great learning experience. Go ahead and share it to your friends. Get this book for sure. I'm not getting any kickbacks, y'all. I'm just telling you, the book is doing a change in me just reading again. But actually, this is my first time reading the other stories of this book. I had done a little online, but it's nothing like having a book that you actually can flip through. All right, you guys, you all have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful Monday. I probably will not be back tonight. I usually take my Mondays to just do me. And then Tuesday through Friday, I'm doing school. But y'all be blessed and be encouraged. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.